Air travel. It's a necessary part of many of our jobs, as well as a necessary path to leisure. Modern air terminals like this are located all over the United States and the world, designed to get us checked in, boarded, and on our way as efficiently as possible. In fact, last year 814 million of us traveled through just American airports alone. That's over 8.8 million departures and landings. During our trips, we walk seemingly unaware of the flurry of activity occurring around us that's needed to support 24/7 operations. And with aircraft turnaround time as little as 30 minutes, it's all hands on deck all of the time. Processing thousands of bags per hour and ensuring they get to the right aircraft at the right time takes an incredibly sophisticated tracking system and miles of automated conveyors located in the depths of most airports. Not only do these systems provide efficient movement of bags, they also allow airline personnel to determine the safety of items being loaded onto aircraft. This is critically important in this day and age. When a plane arrives at the gate, REM personnel have literally only minutes to unload disembarking passengers' baggage, only to reload the aircraft once again. It's simply amazing. Herding nearly 200 people on board an aircraft within 20 minutes requires very specific boarding procedures. And even before that, there's seat assignments, ID verification, and passengers to re-ticket after missing their flight. And getting on the jetway is just the beginning. There's still the process of finding your seat and finding room for your carry-on, often in very tight spaces of the modern airliner. An estimated 140,000 pilots prep a fleet of thousands of commercial aircraft every day, ensuring the safest and most comfortable flight as possible. Consuming almost 10.4 billion gallons of jet fuel each year, the average airliner needs well over 50,000 pounds of thrust to get almost 125 tons of weight off the ground. With the newest generation of composite constructed superjets, we shouldn't forget that it only started just over 100 years ago.
Two inventors from Dayton, Ohio are credited with the first manned controlled flight, Orville and Wilbur Wright. It wasn't long before many others took the three-axis control developed by the Wright brothers and perfected it into a more sustained powered flight. The U.S. government's early adoption of aircraft for transport of mail and cargo was the catalyst needed for the development of the first passenger service airlines. In 1926, the Ford Trimotor took to the skies, transporting up to 10 people hundreds of miles, traveling at a speed of up to 150 miles per hour. During the Trimotor's day, over 100 new airlines were started around the world using this great machine. The Trimotor's high wings allowed for breathtaking vistas for passenger enjoyment while sitting in accommodations you might have found in other multi-passenger travel options of that period, such as on the railway. The Sikorsky S-40 series aircraft with their four large 700 horsepower engines became the new icon of the early 30s airline industry for luxurious international travel. Even though their fleet size was never large, everyone who was anyone wanted to get dressed up for a trip on board a Clipper aircraft, socializing in the relatively spacious lounge setting. Considered one of the most significant aircraft ever made, the Douglas DC-3 revolutionized the airline industry in the mid-1930s. Capable of taking 32 passengers over 1,500 miles, the DC-3, thanks to its pressurized cabin, could operate at altitudes that achieve speeds of over 200 miles per hour. This sturdy and reliable aircraft was the transport plane of choice for the U.S. military in World War II, and a surplus of these planes after the war made the DC-3 one of the largest airline fleets of its time. Even so, many still wondered what possibilities might lay ahead for powered flight.
In 1958, the Boeing 707 was the first successful aircraft sporting turbojet engines. Capable of reaching altitudes never known before in civilian aviation, the 707 could transport over 100 passengers at 600 miles per hour at a range of 2,000 miles. The 707 dominated commercial air travel for well over 2 decades, spawning many others such as the Douglas DC-8. And in 1978, with the deregulation of the airline industry, a massive expansion of commercial air travel resulted from more competition within the airline industry. But with this new ability to transport thousands of people at high speeds comes a necessary price. Airline accidents involving jet liners usually meant that hundreds of people were killed in one terrible moment. Video footage broadcast on televisions around the world showed firsthand the carnage that can be done from equipment failures, poor pilot decisions, or even those seeking to evoke terror. For many, the loss was incomprehensible, leaving us searching for how to fix it. A new alliance was formed between governments, airlines, and aircraft manufacturers, determined to improve the safety and reliability of aircraft. By learning from previous accidents, many dedicated their lives to making improvements. One such improvement was the advent of flight simulators. Since many accidents were caused by pilot error, airlines needed a way to better train their pilots while keeping them safe when they make mistakes. Another important factor was keeping the cost of flight training down. Simulators like this Qantas Airlines 747 flight deck are as real as it gets. Many pilots report thanks to the state-of-the-art graphics and hydraulic movement, there is virtually no difference from the real thing. Other improvements include better maintenance and inspection practices and improved communication between the ground and aircraft for troubleshooting in-air problems. These innovations have led to an incredible safety record that has surpassed all other transportation industries.
Today's airline industry has roots back to great triumphs and great tragedy. Flights land and depart each day without incident, but taking many people behind the scenes to make it happen. What once was a luxury and a social event in and of itself is now the engine of business around the world. Competition is fierce in this industry, with well over 100 airlines just in the United States competing for over $260 billion worth of sales each year. Digital ticketing systems make the check-in process a snap. And with larger terminals, bags must still move as fast as the traveler can, requiring systems like this one at Dubai International Airport. And air traffic controllers have more information at their fingertips than ever before, helping route aircraft safer and more efficiently. This brings a whole new meaning to "you are clear for takeoff." Please make sure that your tray tables and seat backs are in their upright and locked positions. The airline industry is continuing to advance in efficiency and technology, and we're just as curious as the day of our first flight as for what's next in the airline industry.
I can't treetops and the mountainsides make us feel at home as we pass by.